Shaped like a boat, Burg Pflazgrafenstein possesses a picturesque charm. Its position on the river and its carefully planned design make the well-preserved castle even more unique.
So we're gonna use the ferry to cross to the castle. It costs usually €4, but if you buy the tour price with the tour of the castle and the one of the museum for Blucher, it costs €950.
Also, the castle can only be accessed through a ferry trip. In 1326, this tall castle was built because of the dispute over the Rhine toll between the Pope and King Ludwig of Bavaria. King Ludwig made some enemies by raising the toll in Kaub. The king ordered that a tower be built on the rocky island of Feichenau, in the middle of the Rhine, a construction that would enable him to control the waterway on the right side of the river. Between approximately 1338 to 1342, a defensive wall was built around the tower. The toll-collecting castle worked in concert with the Gutenfels castle and the fortified town of Kaub. Due to a dangerous shallow waters on the river's left, every vessel would have to use the fairway nearer to the right bank, thus floating downstream between the Pflazgrafenstein on the vessel's left and Kaub and Gutenfels on its right. A chain across the river drawn between the Pflazgrafenstein and Gutenfels for ships to submit, and uncooperative traders could be kept in the dungeon until a ransom was delivered. As a result of modernizations and renovations in the 17th and 18th century, a long hexagonal defensive walls now encloses the pentagonal tower. Unlike the vast majority of Rhine castles, the Pfalz was never conquered or destroyed, withstanding not only wars but also the natural onslaughts of ice and floods by the river. Massive measures of water engineering in the 19th century includes the straightening of the river for better use as an international waterway, clearing it from the shallow waters, relocated the fairway from the river's right to its left. In the winter of 1813 to 14, the castle moved into the focus of European history. Here, the Prussian Field Marshal Blucher succeeded in crossing the Rhine with his army. The Battle of Waterloo became the ultimate victory over Napoleon through his intervention. The castle was acquired by Prussia in 1866, and toll collection ceased a year later. It continued to be used as a signal station for the river boat traffic for about another century. In 1946, the castle became the property of the state of Rhineland-Pfalz. In 1970, the Baroque color scheme of red and white was restored, and eventually the castle was turned into a museum. Now, the Old Tower. This is the site of one of Burg Pflazgrafenstein's most enduring legends. Count Conrad was a great friend of the Emperor Barbarossa, and equally disdainful of the Emperor's rival cousin, Duke Henry the Lion of Brunswick. Count Conrad had great hopes for his only child and daughter to make a beneficial marriage, since her husband will become the actual heir to his own fortune. Unfortunately for the Count, his daughter Agnes was far more interested in love than its titles. Even worse, she was in love with the son of Duke Henry, the enemy of her father and the Emperor. The Count's wife sided with her lovelorn daughter, and so Conrad had both of them locked away in the tower of Pflazgrafenstein. Far from Henry's advances, however, the younger Henry was a determined lover and found a ferryman to take him to the island where he was reunited with Agnes. Agnes was overjoyed to see Henry and fell into his arms. With the blessing of her mother, a few nights later, a ferryman transported a priest to the island, and young Henry and Agnes were married. 9 moons later, the Count's wife requested her husband to visit the island. The Count assumed that the women were finally ready to concede and return home. The Count was in shock when he learned young Henry became his son-in-law without his knowledge. Agnes explained he only not gained a son-in-law but also a grandchild. Count Conrad expected the worst when he told Barbarossa the news. However, the Emperor was delighted that Agnes and Henry had brought the warring families together and became the godfather to the child. Today, you can still visit the old tower, where you can see the room where the child's cradle once stood. Now let us take a tour around the castle. Castle Gate. It leads to the elevated courtyard and the only access to the castle. Curtain wall surrounds the main tower and courtyard. Fireplace, used as heat by soldiers on duty on the battlements. Main tower, constructed in 1327. It is a bell tower and the oldest part of the castle. The octagonal tower cap was added in the 17th century. Bastion, constructed in 1607, the wedge-shaped and solid walls protects the castle against artillery and ice. Well, a possibility that the well system existed when the castle was founded in the 14th century. Corner Tower, only one remaining of the 6 original corner towers. It has the spiral staircase, which is the only link between the courtyard and battlements, for easier defense if the castle is overrun by invaders. Powder Magazine. With its strong vault, it is where the weapons and ammunitions are stored.
As you can see, this is the powder magazine room, which is converted into an museum.
Oriel windows. 4 windows added in 1658. They made it possible to fight the attackers from a protected position. Privy. This location is suited because the Rhine flows directly below this wall. Commandant's residence, mistakenly believed as the princess's building with 3 rooms. Its living room is directly above the castle gate. Dungeon, still uncertain of this 2-story dip is the dungeon. It is verified that there is one in the cellar at the main tower at the end of the 18th century. Chain winch, used to lower portcullis on 2 chain towers in front of the castle gate. Gun emplacement. Ships could be fired upon from this site. Below the north embrasures is a lion holding the coat of arms of the Electoral Palatinate. Oven, installed on the 2nd floor of the main tower in the 17th to 18th century. Bread was baked for the troops here.
Hey guys, so we reached the top of the tower. This is the very end of our tour, and you can see the towns and the surrounding rivers and villages around. And as you can see, there's a pole right here. There's 2 poles facing east and west. They signify if the ships are good to go or they are not. So guys, this wraps up our tour of the Burg Pflazgrafenstein, but since I can't pronounce it, here you go.
So guys, if you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and feel free to comment.
Hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell, hit the bell. Come on guys, hit the bell. For notifications. And don't forget to share.
And like.